Hey everybody, it's Ben, and I'm back once again with another video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing Original Sin, issue number 1. This is part of Marvel's latest event series for the summer, which consists of 8 issues. It's written by Jason Aaron, illustrated by Mike Deodato, and colored by Frank Martin. So our story starts out with Uatu, the Watcher, seemingly being introduced to the story and seamlessly murdered, but not before you get a bit of a backstory on the Watcher as to who he is and basically what his duty is, which is to chronicle the evolution of the Earth, and it goes into basically what the Watcher has seen over the course of his vigil. He's seen, he's seen more war than any living being. He's seen, the quieter moments. He's seen the moments that are still changing the Earth even now, and so you get Uatu seamlessly introduced to the story, and then within 5 pages you get him ultimately introduced and seamlessly murdered. One thing I will say about this this event by Marvel, if you go back to the very first page of the issue, it's actually a character introduction page as to who all of the main players are going to be in the over the course of this 8-issue story. So if you'd never read any Marvel comics before, I think you could pick this up and look at the introductory page and get a grip as to who each of the characters are, and basically then just get thrown straight into the story. And the next scene we have the Avengers and Nick Fury having a steak night. So you have some really great back and forth banter between Captain America, Wolverine, the Black Widow, and Nick Fury. Same as before with Uatu and the introductory page. You get a name caption and the sort of occupation as a new character is introduced. For example, at the bottom of the page you have Nick Fury introduced, and as it says, the super spy, and the fact that he's retired. So you get, like I said, some great back and forth banter between Logan, Steve, and Natasha, and you then have Fury basically recounting his favourite steak story, which then actually coincides with Wolverine asking Cap, what's the best steak you've ever had, and it was actually, for them, it was in Bastogne. It's Bastogne in 1944 during World War II. You get a reference to Bucky Barnes, who was Captain America's sidekick during the Second World War, and basically it was Bucky that basically prepared the steak or the cow for the platoon, and then one of the army grunts made a grill out of a burnt out Jeep. So you have that great back and forth between the characters, and you then have Steve getting a call from Thor basically saying you need to come to the moon, something's happened, and then you have Fury along for the ride, as Steve tells him, we may need you on this one. There's a really great nod to Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, with Fury driving Lola, who we saw in the first sort of full trailer for the series, and another little sort of cheeky nod and a wink, which was fun to see, which was actually Iron Man's caption underneath his name, "Big Man in a Suit of Armor," which is a quote from Joss Whedon's Avengers Assemble, or the Avengers, depending on where you are in the world. So that was a really great, fun little reference there. So you then have basically the team discovering the body of Uatu and seamlessly cordoning off the crime scene and deducing exactly how the Watcher was murdered, but they're not quite sure as to who did it and why. But you have some more great dialogue interactions between the characters, particularly from Iron Man, and basically even Fury warns Cap, look, there's a very few select group of people that knew the Watcher, let alone that he lived on the moon, And, you know, this list and this investigation is going to go to some very dark places. and not everybody on this list is necessarily a bad guy. But you have Cap basically enlisting Fury's help anyway, even though he does seem sort of somewhat reluctant to get back into the game. And you then have the character, the Black Panther, or T'Challa, being introduced in Wakanda, which is the nation he rules over, as its sovereign leader and king. And you then have T'Challa being contacted by a mysterious individual who believes he has some leads for T'Challa to chase up as to the original sin and the questions that need to be asked and the locations they need to be asked at specifically. I think the person that T'Challa is actually being contacted by is Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, purely because he's holding something which looks very much to be made out of gamma radiation, which, as you know, is key to the Hulk's origin, seeing as how Bruce Banner was doused with this stuff and then turned into the Hulk. So you then have our other teams being basically assembled and put together. So you have Scott Lang, Ant-Man and Emma Frost, along with the Black Panther. You have the Punisher and Doctor Strange, which is probably my favourite team up in the bunch, and I'm definitely looking forward to finding out how these two are going to play off against each other, seeing as how they are pretty much polar opposites of one another. And the final team you have introduced is the team of Moon Knight, the Winter Soldier, and Gamora from the Guardians of the Galaxy. And so you have basically, and the other team as well is The Thing and Spider-Man, who actually go up against one of the Mindless Ones, who are this race of interdimensional alien beings, which are meant to be pretty solid to take down, at least according to the webhead anyway. And so you have a really great action scene between the Mindless One and The Thing. As you can see there's Ben Grimm and Peter Parker's captions and the introduction. And this particular Mindless One is actually holding a device which is very closely tied to the Fantastic Four, particularly to Reed Richards, which is the Ultimate Nullifier, which I actually think could have very well been the device which actually killed Uatu or the Watcher. Particularly when you see how the confrontation plays out between the Mindless One, the Thing, and Spidey. And you then have Fury coming in and saying, look, you need to take a few steps back, this is an official crime scene, and I'm in charge. So Fury's getting back into the game and getting involved. And you then have basically a briefing to each of the teams as to what they're going to do. My favourite of which for Cliffhanger is definitely when Frank Castle and Stephen Strange both go off, and I'm assuming it's to an interdimension or a dark dimension or something. Excuse me. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where these two go. And you then have Gamora being briefed on what the Watcher being killed actually means, and then you have a final hint on the last page as to the two beings. There's two beings surrounded in shadow as to who may have killed the Watcher. It's hinted at quite heavily, particularly as one of them is holding one of his eyes, but it's not yet revealed who these two are. And you then get a showcase of the cover to issue 2, as you can see there. Jason Aaron does a great job on the writing and the storytelling in this. Mike Deodato's artwork and Frank Martin's colouring are both absolutely fantastic in my opinion. If you're new to Marvel Comics and you've never read any Marvel Comics before, as I said with the title page earlier, I think if you've never read anything from Marvel before, you could look at the title page, immediately get to grips with who the main players are within this 8-issue story, and then just get immediately thrown in straight away and understand what's going on. The basic premise is that this is a murder mystery as to who killed the Watcher, and this team, or these teams of, Avengers and heroes are going to find out exactly who's behind it and why. So if you're even just a fan of a good old-fashioned murder mystery, I definitely think Original Sin is worth checking out. Or if you're a fan of Jason Aaron, Mike Deodato and Frank Martin, or just a fan of the characters involved. I definitely say Original Sin is well worth picking up. Yeah, and I definitely say this is a series worth getting into, and I definitely think that issue 1 is worth checking out. I'll definitely be on board for the 8 issues of the main series and the Avengers tie-ins through 29 through 31, particularly as that'll tie right back into the first arc of New Avengers, which is also written by Hickman, and the first arc of New Avengers was fantastically illustrated by Steve Epting, and I believe Frank Martin was also on the colouring duties for that as well. So anyway, as I said, Original Sin number 1, great first issue, great writing from Jason Aaron, fantastic artwork by Mike Deodato, and colouring by Frank Martin, and I definitely think it's well worth picking up. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the video. As always, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Didn't like it, thumbs it down. But as I always say, if you thumbs down the video, by all means, please feel free to tell me why in the comments below, or send me a private message. And if it's your first time here, by all means, please feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this is Scambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, guys.